Okay. So good afternoon. I'm interviewing Miss Ruth Brown, my grandmother. My subject this afternoon is the era of Jim Crow and segregation in the school system. Now, Miss Brown, can you tell us a little bit about that?
School was just fine before it was integrated. We had the privilege of having the first white child in my class that lived across the street from the school, and things went well. The mothers came with the child to school to see that she got in safely. And from there on, it was just, she was in school with a bunch of kids. I think maybe I had 3 white kids in my class at that time. And there was no problem, absolutely, because I tried to set the tone for it, really. The white family moved in front of our school, and those kids were the first white kids to integrate my school. There was no problem. A lot of looking at first, our kids are curious, why are you here? We haven't had you before. But we had the kind of teachers who set the tone, and it made no difference. Everybody was treated the same. And because of the way we organized, our principal, our superintendent really, had some other teachers to come in from the district and to kind of observe and see how we were going. And from then on, we had no problems. We had no problems. And I don't know, I can't speak for all the schools, but I can speak for the school I was in. We had no problem. It's because the way the teachers handled it. We were all children. Forget color. We all had to do the same thing, learning the same thing, and going to the playground, and all the things we did together was quite different to this beginning. One white child in my class, just one child, but she was treated just like anybody else. They became, this is the way you organize your class. The kids would come to me for learning, and I didn't have any special. Your area for learning, I don't care whether you're black or white. That was your area for doing whatever you had to do. So we really, in fact, the whole school, we had no problems with integrating Glen Spring, not whatsoever, none. We had no problem. And we had some very cooperative white parent who really, I guess, decided this is it, so let's join in and make this a good thing. And that's exactly the way it went. A lot of our kids were bused in because those children had not had the experiences that most of the kids in Gainesville had, because we could go to the library, we could do things that the kids in the country couldn't do, to play ball or whatever in the afternoon. They didn't have other things they could do.
Because I know, like, in this era of Jim Crow, there was a lot of segregation, not only in schools, but like bathrooms. Ms. Brown, I would like to ask, where did you go to school? Where did you go to school to get your teaching license? What college did you go to?
Florida A&M in Tallahassee, Florida. Florida A&M University, Tallahassee, Florida. That's where I went to school.
You have like a degree in teaching?
I do have a degree. Yes, I do. It's I have 2. I went on and after I did elementary education, I went back to school, and I got a degree in administration.
Ms. Brown, can you tell us about your experiences with discrimination in your lifetime?
All through high school, it was segregated. We lived in our neighborhood, and they lived in their neighborhood. And integration in terms of public education had not started. For me to go from Gainesville to Marianna with some, if Mama took us on the bus or whatever, we had to sit in the back of that bus.
Yes, segregation.
You couldn't sit with us. No, you couldn't sit with them.
You couldn't sit in the front with white people.
Right. And right here in Gainesville, downtown, they had a dime store, and they had a counter where you could go by and buy refreshment, like a drink or something. And we could, Mama would take us to the store. We couldn't go in there. We could go there and buy something and get out that door, but you couldn't go to that counter and sit down and eat anything. It started to run up to the door. of the house where we were going to work. And my grandmother just jerked me back, and I didn't know what the world I had done wrong, except I know I was running ahead of her a little bit. And what she explained to me, that to make me understand why she was pulling me back, didn't make sense still though. She said, you can't go in that door. You can't go in the front door. We have to go around to the back door. That was the first time I really understood segregation.
Ms. Brown, could you tell us how many years you taught in the education public school system?
I've almost forgotten, so long. Oh gosh, 20, 30. I'm sure it was past about 31 or 32 years, I guess.
That's a lot of years.
A lot of time spent with children.
You have seen a lot of kids, haven't
A lot of kids. And you know what's so nice about them? All those kids I've taught through the years, sometimes somebody comes to me and pat me on the back, and I look around and I don't know who it is. You know, it's been years. They've grown up. And they just, now, Ms. Brown, you don't remember me. And then we go through a few things. Then, of course, I would remember. But it was different. We taught our Black kids. I remember the first year I taught the first white child. That people moved in front of my school. The district said you have to go to school right here. You're right in front of the school. So that was my first experience teaching a white child. Mm-hmm. No different, the same learning style. They learned, they were obedient. I mean, it was just a wonderful experience because it was coming full force after that. You know, half of your class was white, that kind of stuff. You know, and it was a good introduction for me to have that one child and know that she was such a good kid, and her parents were nice. They were very helpful.
Ms. Brown, it's to my understanding that you've witnessed or heard about the lynching of Claude O'Neill. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Who wants to hear what happened when Claude O'Neill got lynched? Claude O'Neill.
Oh, what is it, honey? Say it again.
She wants to hear about it.
It's to my understanding that you've witnessed or heard about the lynching of Claude O'Neill.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we took turns on going up to West Florida, Marianna, Florida. In the summertime, each one of us had a week to go there to be with our grandparents. And it was my week to go, and something terrible happened. I don't know how many white men lynched a man named Claude O'Neill. And I couldn't sleep that night because my parents, everybody was scared to death. Black people were really afraid because they didn't know what was coming next.
4 years old.
And they made a song about it. And I was the other day, so funny, it came across my mind and I started singing. It was in Marianna, Florida. And this man's name was Claude O'Neill. And I can't, did I sing the song for you?
Yeah.
Sing a little bit.
Stars fell in Marianna.
Oh, yeah. The song was that they made up about this lynching that never happened before. And the song was Stars Fell in Alabama when they lynched Claude O'Neill in Marianna. And I could not sleep at night, that song in my ears. Because Black people scared, and because the area, everybody scared to death. You know, I remember my grandmother protected us so much. Mm-hmm. But it was a really hard time. And that was the first time I really knew, I guess, the difference in Black and white. Because I was with my grandmother, and we weren't around them. I think I would go with her sometime to a nearby store, but I didn't know anything about all this segregation. I wasn't old enough to go to school, really. But anyway, that was a bad experience for me. I never forgot it. And because they just talked about this poor Black man that said something to this white woman, which was out of place, and he lynched him. And that's when they made the song, Stars Fell in Alabama, when they lynched Claude O'Neill in Marianna. And that's the first song I learned, but I learned that song because I was scared to death.
Well, I would like to thank you so much, Ms. Brown, for allowing me to interview you.